All right, fourth garden tour of 2024. We're going to start here at the Pink Lemonade Blueberry. So it had some blueberries like we saw last time, and I got to taste one or two of them. They were good, but then the birds came and ate the rest before I got them. And it wasn't like there was a lot, there was maybe like 10. So the birds got 8, I got 1, or I got 2. So it's okay. Then we have the other blueberry plants in here, whose only job this year or this season is just to grow and reestablish themselves. And then this is a Barbados cherry. Couldn't resist buying it, even though it really doesn't survive here in this weather. But we're going to do our best because I love these cherries. And then we have a fig tree here, which really looked like it was suffering. I think I just wasn't watering it enough. So I'm going to work on watering it more. Hence the hose just kind of lives there now, so I could just turn it on and water it some. And then over here into this bed, this is the sweet potato and sorrel bed. So some of the sorrel has avoided the sweet potato. Right there, it's doing well, but the sweet potato is coming. And some have been entangled by the sweet potato, pulling it down. And I tried to kind of control it and keep them off of it, but no, the sweet potato is very persistent. So probably not the best thing to plant in there with the sweet potato, or I had to have the sorrel like really, really tall first before I planted it with the sweet potato. But everything is doing well. There are 3 different types of sweet potatoes in here, all mixed up. There's a Japanese variety, a purple variety, and a regular orange variety. All in there and escaping. So we'll see who's who when I actually harvest. And then this bed, this is really like the flower bed. We have the Gomphrena here doing well, the white one. Pink is back here, also doing well. We have some zinnias there. This is a purple tomatillo, and it's died and come back and died and come back, and it's just really not doing that great. I wish it was doing better because its partner over here is doing fantastic, but you need 2 of them to get a harvest. So I really hope by some miracle this one does better and starts catching up. We have the Castro bean plant there in the middle, another Gomphrena here, the first Scarbosa or pincushion bloom, if we can focus. It took a while longer than expected, but there it is. It's starting. We have some status here, which I've already picked like a bouquet full that I have drying. We have some African marigolds there. We have the Spanish lavender back there, more Gomphrena, another Castro bean. Here's the straw flower coming up top. And then this bed also has peppers. It's not just a flower bed. So there's a Scotch bonnet pepper, and there's basil. There's a teeny tiny serrano pepper that's really trying its best. There's purple basil in the back, another Castro bean. This is supposed to be a chocolate Scotch bonnet, and pink calendula. And you see how these are kind of yellowing? I did give them some extra fertilizer last week to help with that. There's a shishito in the back, and there's this pepper, which is a Daital pepper. It's supposed to be a very hot pepper. It was just a free pepper seed in my seed order this year, so I figured I would try it. And there's a hollyhock in the back. There's also a baby hollyhock over here, which is really, it's trying, but it's fine because really the hollyhocks shouldn't be doing much this year anyway, and it's going to be next year that they actually hopefully bloom. And then we had other pin cushions here, but they're just not blooming yet. Back here we have a guava, which also does not actually survive in this climate, but I could not say no when I saw them on discount at Lowe's. That's how I ended up with that and the Barbados cherry. These used to be the garlic. Garlic is all gone now out of all three of them. And I put some zinnias in this one and that one. I just sprinkled some seeds. So these are what's come up so far, but there will probably be more that comes up. Here we have the eucalyptus. One not doing so well, one doing pretty good. So not sure what's going on. They're the same variety, planted at the same time, obviously in the same container. So they're exposed to the same things, but just one, it was looking fine and then suddenly just not so much. But this one still looks great. And if we come over into this bed, we have a really pretty blue sage here, which really does well with those blooms. Then here we still have some carrots that I should probably dig up or pull up because they're probably gonna bolt soon if I don't. Looks like this was probably already trying to bolt and something ate it. And then here in the middle where I had potatoes, I've now planted more sweet potatoes because I had a lot of sweet potato slits. So there's more sweet potatoes in here. I think this was also a mixture of varieties, so we'll see what's what when it's done. They're kind of taking turns at which ones are best. So that back one wasn't doing well, and this front one here was doing really well, and now the front one's not doing well at all, and the back one's doing well, and then this middle one's kind of just been hanging out the whole time. We have more zinnias here. Another Gomphrena. This was the Mexican sunflower, but it kind of got some sort of, disease or something that we saw in the other videos. And so I kind of cut it back as I was trying to get in there to plant the sweet potatoes and replace the drip system. And so now I'm kind of like just watching to see what springs back, but I've actually started some more inside so that they will be replaced. And then we have some mint. Well, on this side, we actually got some of these long beans there, and then the plant started to die. So I figured I was going to let the long bean dry on the plant, and now I'll replant these, and hopefully they will be more adapted. It's not a full season worth, but it was a quick kind of turnaround. So I'm going to try and plant those and see how well they do. And then if we move to this one, the cucumbers. So I did not harvest these in time, but look at how big they got. So I got 1, 2, 3 really large overripe cucumbers. And then I'm gonna hopefully we get some more and actually know when to harvest it now. This was a new variety to me, so I wasn't sure when and how big it got. And then I started seeing them turn yellow, so that's when I knew I kind of missed my chance there. Hiding back there is also a grape. This is a Niagara grape, and it is kind of taking over more than I expected it to. You can see it's all the way up here. Kind of expected it to just grow straight up. I actually thought it was dead until late spring. It's a good thing I didn't pull it out, and then it just popped back up. And then here in the middle we have a zinnia and a calendula and a little carrot back there. My idea was that the cucumbers would cover this side of the trellis, and I could maybe put like radishes or something like that needs more shade under there for the summer heat. And then here we have the agastache, and then we have the white marigold actually starting to come out white. More zinnias there in the middle, zinnia in the back, and then here in this middle we have more peppers. So this front one is a Scotch bonnet. This back one I'm not sure about because I didn't label it. That one is a jalapeno. And then here up front we have the Turkish pepper, which I wanted to try this year. It's like a Turkish sweet pepper. They're supposed to change color, I believe. So I'm gonna leave these. I have ones on the other side that are the same color, but they've been that color for longer. So I think I'm gonna pick one of those and try it. You can eat the peppers at any stage really, but these I'm gonna see, because they get a little bit more sun, I'm gonna see if they do change colors. We got more basil in here as well. And then the next bed kind of creeps over, and this is a honeysuckle, which is really just branched out, taken over. It also has, something going on. This was similar to what happened to the Mexican sunflowers, so I probably should have just pulled it when I saw it, but I just left it alone. And we'll see what happens, because it's still producing. I think we're supposed to harvest in August. So there's a calendula. There is a strawberry hiding back there. I'm surprised that one's still alive. This is a sweet pepper, like a bell pepper. Have another pepper back there, Scotch bonnet. This is more basil. Another African marigold. More sweet peppers. And this is the phlox, which is pretty much done now, I think. And another agastache back there. And then here we have coulis thyme or Cuban oregano. We have lemongrass or fever grass. More calendula. It's an eggplant. More calendula here. A zinnia. This is another jalapeno. The last one I got though, they're kind of odd shapes. They're like small and round. They're not getting that long, typical jalapeno shape. Those were not started from seeds. Those were plants I bought at a nursery. And actually they came together and I just split them. That's another basil. This is Swiss chard here. And throughout all the beds, you'll see that there is scallion interplanted everywhere. All right, on to the other side. In here as well, there is a pomegranate way back there, and it's doing pretty well. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. It's the pomegranate there, kind of the slightly tallest over all the wildflower. This is supposed to be a wildflower meadow, but really the weeds I had before are quite persistent, so they've definitely overpowered any wildflower seeds I've put down. But they do bloom, and I'm sure they're good for some pollinators. So I'm leaving it for now, and I'll just try again next year. So we come over into this bed. This is the blackberries. This is an ebony blackberry. And it's really taken off this year. I planted, one of the ones you get from like Lowe's last year, and now this year it's really done well. This was also the onion bed, and you can see some of the onions have gone to seed. Some onions and some of the leeks. And I'm just letting them bloom. I'll probably try and collect the seeds, but also I kind of like the blooms. So I'm letting it bloom. There's a strawberry right here. It's actually trying to produce a little strawberry. These are stock plants. This one's not doing so well. That one's doing much better. And then there's some yarrow. Another strawberry back there. And yeah, a whole lot of blackberry. I think I'm gonna have to figure out a way of how I want this blackberry to be set up in this bed. Have a straw flower here. And there are tomatoes, because the tomatoes were planted along the trellis, and then the blackberries were kind of more in this middle area, because I was thinking I would put like a T on both sides to just kind of contain the blackberries in the middle. But now I'm kind of more thinking maybe I should have the blackberries go over the trellis, and have tomatoes in future years more on the outside. So we'll see. This was a volunteer sunflower, like a common sunflower. This is Korean mint, which did really well. You can see there's more tomatoes back there. These are just holdover tomatoes from my spring planting where I didn't really get a tomato. I think I know I planted them too early. I was kind of rushing to get them out. And now they survived, but it's very hot right now, so they're not really producing. And so here we have Snapdragon, which overwintered from last year. And there, and it is just taking over this whole little corner, which is fine. It's very pretty. We have more basil. This is a Coreopsis that's done blooming. And there is a calendula down there as well. Another honey or huckleberry plants. This is that other Turkish pepper I was telling you about. See, it's much bigger, but the color is still the same. But I'm probably gonna pick that really big one today just so I could try it. Another huckleberry, a Gomphrena over there with a zinnia, and lots of volunteer zinnias outside the beds. Probably from the zinnias I had here last year. And then there's watermelon, and this is a papaya tree in the bed. And also papayas don't grow here, but it was also on clearance, so I couldn't leave it. But it's doing well back there, so hopefully it grows. I get a couple papayas and then we're done before the winter. And then, yep, that's another zinnia. That was a volunteer zinnia in there. We come over to this side, another volunteer zinnia that popped up, but I mean, look at that, it's so pretty. And then under it we have some chives, we have some agastache, another Coreopsis, a Snapdragon that overwintered. These are dahlias that are not blooming. Dahlia. Have basil. More basil. And here I had tomatoes, and I pulled those because those were like really, really dead. And then here is a climbing rose that I want to climb this whole clothesline. And it's starting to kind of bloom again. To come around to it. This is chicory. It's the Italian dandelion plant that I did not plant this year. It came back from last year, and then it just produced leaves for a little bit and quickly went to producing flowers. So flowers are chicory, they're edible. This is another calendula there. This is a shishito pepper plant with actually has shishitos. I've actually gotten a couple from here already. It's probably the best pepper plant so far. There's another pincushion, and behind it is some sweet alyssum. Didn't plant that. That also volunteered, but I had sweet alyssum here last year, so not very surprising. And then this is the last huckleberry, and that is it for the 4th garden tour of 2024.